Hello friends, I am Dr. Tushar Pandya here and I welcome you all for this academic year 2020-21. Friends, this year I am associated with your physics paper number 3803 and it is the unit number 2 and title of this unit is scattering theory. Friend is the topic of quantum mechanics and you have to study scattering theory. That is a quantum theory you will have to study. So before I proceed for the scattering theory, I would like to give you the brief outline of this unit number 2 of your paper Physics 3803 of scattering theory. So I would like to share the file. So give me a moment. I'll share the file and I would like to give you the brief outline of the scattering theory. Well, friends, you people have to study chapter number 14 of a textbook which you are familiar, that is a Quantum Mechanics by G. Arul Das. It is the publisher is PHI Learning Private Limited, and you have to study topic number 14.1 to 14.14. Fine. So there are 14 topics and I will take one lectures for one topic. So to justify the scattering theory, I require 14 lectures for this semester number 3. Of course, we will take several examples, review questions and problems because I know that you will have to appear for various competitive examinations. And this is a very important chapter of quantum mechanics. So we will take several problems which will give you a detailed insight about the scattering theory. Well, friends, if you want to understand the theory in detail, you also have to refer several reference books. So I would like to suggest some reference book here. Look at that. You have Introductory Quantum Mechanics by Leboff. You please read this book. I would say references. Then you please refer Introduction to Quantum Mechanics by David Griffith. There is another book I would like to recommend, Quantum Mechanics, Theory and Applications by Ajoy Ghatak and S. Loknathan. This is a very well-known reference book. You have to study a textbook of quantum mechanics by Matthews and Venkatesan. This is a very important book in textbook of in quantum mechanics. I generally refer as a Bible of quantum mechanics, and I would like to suggest another reference book, that is Quantum Mechanics Concepts and Applications by Zetley. See, exactly book, you will get more numerical problems and the basic understanding of scattering theory. Well, friends, with this brief outline, I would like to start the topic of scattering theory. So today, I would like to give you introductions of scattering theory, and we will write down some basic equations of a scattering theory today. So, well, friend, let us start uh, the session. And we have to study a scattering theory, we have to study quantum theory. In second year BSc, you have studied the classical theory, and you have studied Rutherford scattering experiments, and you have studied scattering theory at SY BSc level. And now we will study this theory by giving the quantum theory applications. So friends, scattering is defined as the deviation of particle or a beam of particles from its original direction of motion caused by its interaction with other particle. This other particle is referred as a scatterer, or we may refer as target. In scattering, a beam of homogeneous, it means identical, monoenergetic, that is having same energy, we have an ensemble of particle is allowed to pass close to a scattering material called target, and their energies and angular distributions are measured. In this process, the target, the scatterer, may remain in its original state. That means there is no change in internal energy of the target. That is referred as elastic scattering. Or if the target is brought to a different state after the scattering, that means there is a change in internal energy of the target, it is referred as inelastic scattering. You have studied elastic collision and non-elastic collision when you have studied the collision theory. As such, your scattering theory is analogous to, I would say, a collision theory. In scattering, we are mainly interested in the angular distribution of the scattered particles, which in turn related to the wave function. So basically, friends, what we want to do this year is that we would like to write down the Schrodinger equation for the scattered wave. Here we study the wave nature of the scattered particle because we want to study the quantum theory. So we write down the scattered wave equation and we solve this equation and we solve its asymptotic solutions. And once you solve the asymptotic solution, you will get some information regarding the target. And we want to study the properties of atoms, nuclei, and elementary particles. So, in scattering theory is one of the best method of studying the properties of atom, as I said, nuclei, and interaction of elementary particles between themselves and with an atomic and nuclear system. The concept of atom is an outcome of scattering experiments, and Rutherford analysis of alpha particle scattering is known to you. So with this brief introduction, now I would like to give you the kinematics of this scattering process. So first of all, you look at this diagram which I have mentioned here. This diagram is representing a schematic diagram for a scattering event. Here I have an incident particle. I may consider a beam of particles having specific momentum. That means if it is a beam of particles, then you have homogeneous particle, identical particles, and monoenergetic. That means particles are having same energy and they are subjected along the direction, along the, I would say they are, let us consider that they are subjected along the z direction, or let us say you have your target. That a target, you may have an atom, you may have a nucleus, or you have a nuclei which is kept at the origin of the coordinate system. Here we consider that the particle is traveling along the z direction and it is incident. So we have the spherical polar system, and we consider that incident beam is moving along z direction, and after the scattering, the scattered beam, the scattered particle is making angle theta with its original direction. So as I said, that scattering is the process in which your incident particle deviates from its original direction because of its interaction with the target particle. Here, you please understand that your target is stationary. It is kept at the origin of the coordinate system, and this target is producing a potential field surrounding the target. So your target is producing a potential, and when your incident particle moving with a specific momentum enters in this potential field, it will experience a force, and because it experiences a force, it loses its direction and it is making angle theta with its incident direction. Please remember that the target which we have considered is producing a potential field. So a potential, when it is producing the potential field, there is a range of potential. So you may imagine that suppose you have a target which producing a potential, and suppose the range of potential is R0, then you imagine a sphere of radius R0 surrounding the target, right? So I mean to say that in the scattering event, a target is providing you some area, and if your particle, that is incident particle, enters in this region in which there is a potential provided by the target, then this incident particle will definitely interact with this potential. There is a maximum probability of the scattering event, and your particle will scattered and it will make some angle theta with its original directions. So if you have a group of particles and when the scattering takes place, the particles will scatter in all directions. Now, since we are discussing this event in a spherical polar coordinate system, we define the two angle. Here I have defined angle theta, which is considered, it is the angle which is made by a scattered beam with respect to the z-axis. This angle generally referred as a zenith angle in a spherical polar coordinate system. So now you see that when the particle is scattered, so you have a plane which accommodates the scattered particles. So here you can see this, there is a dotted line which I have mentioned. Look at this, this is a crusher. Let us consider this is the point A. Let us consider this is the point B. Let us consider this is the point C, and let us consider this is the point D. So if I say this is A, B, C, D, this plane is known as a scattering plane. So this is a scattering plane which is accommodating your scattered particle. I mean to say that a particle of mass m moving with specific velocity v, when it is scattered angle theta, you will have, it can be characterized by its scattering plane. Similarly, I am defining as a reference plane. The reference plane is a plane which is accommodating your incident particle. That means it is including your z-axis. So you have a reference plane which is basically accommodating your incident particles, which includes your z-axis. Z-axis is known as the polar axis, and your target is kept at the origin of the polar axis. And here we consider that the angle between the scattering plane and the reference plane is known as azimuthal angle phi. So we have a two angle, and this scattering phenomena is characterized by these two angle theta and phi. So I would say that when a particle is scattered, the particle is scattered in the direction of angle theta and phi. So angle theta and phi basically specify the direction of this scattered particle. These two angle plays very important part to understand the scattering event. And here you can see I have mentioned a cone, and this cone represents the cone of scattering at angle theta. So we have the two parameters to describe a scattering event, angle theta and phi, and your particle is scattered in the direction of angle theta and phi. So with this basic understanding of a scattering event, now we want to write down the expression uh, for scattering cross section. Because as I said that surrounding the target particle, you have a region, you have an area, and in that area, the probability of scattering is maximum. So I want to say that a target particle or a target is basically providing you an area surrounding it in which probability of interaction between the incident particle and the target is maximum. So let us try to understand to obtain the expression for a scattering cross section. So to understand the scattering cross section, let us understand a small schematic diagram which I have mentioned. So consider that you have an incident beam of a homogeneous particle which are monoenergetic, and they are moving along the z-axis. Look at, this is your z-axis, and the incident beam is allowed to pass along the z-axis. Here, here you see that I have kept my detector here. This is my detector, and this detector is subtending angle d omega, that is known as the solid angle d omega at the target. So you imagine a cone and consider this angle is d omega. This is the solid angle, and this is the angle subtended by your target. You see, when particle is scattered, and once the scattered particle, you want to detect the scattered particle, the direction of the scattered particle, you see, once it encounters the potential field, this direction of this particle is radially outward. So once they cross the potential, once they cross the spherical region in which the potential is active, but you see that the after the scattering, I would say, uh, they will move in a radially outward direction. So if you keep your detector at a large distance, you see, we compare the distance. You see, this distance is large because we have to see the dimension of the target, linear dimension of the target. Your target may be a atom, group of atom, nuclei, or you may have a thin foil here. So compared to the linear dimension, if you keep the distance, this distance at a large distance, you will uh, be able to detect the scattered particles here. So let us consider that. Let us consider that capital N is the number of incident particles crossing the unit area normal to the beam in a unit time. Once again, I am repeating, capital N is the number of incident particles crossing the unit area, which is normal to the beam in unit time, and I define a parameter small n is the number of particles scattered into the solid angle d omega. You see, I mentioned here, you see here, I have mentioned this is your angle. So number of particles scattered into the solid angle d omega in the direction of theta and phi in a unit time. You see, when a particle is scattered, a scattered particle is characterized by two polar angles. And these two polar angles, I have already mentioned theta and phi. So, the differential scattering cross section, we gave the symbol sigma, which is a function of theta and phi, is defined as a ratio of number of scattered particles per unit solid angle. Number of scattered particles per unit solid angle divided by number of incident particle crossing the unit area normal to the beam in a unit time. So the denominator is capital N, but the numerator, you see, we have to calculate. The numerator is the number of scattered particles per unit solid angle. See, small n is the number of particles scattered into the solid angle d omega. So if you have a solid angle d omega, then n number of particles are scattered. So if you want to find out number of scattered particles per solid angle, then if you take the ratio n by d omega, small n by d omega is nothing but number of scattered particles per unit solid angle, because n, small n, is the number of particles scattered in a solid angle d omega. That is per solid angle d omega. So per unit solid angle, you can say it is the ratio of small n by d omega divided by capital N. So this sigma theta phi is basically known as a differential scattering cross section. The dimension of sigma theta phi has a dimension of area, because it is basically giving you the area. So when you measure its dimension, when you find a unit, the unit will be either meter square or a centimeter square. Similarly, you can see that if you know the d omega, if you want, now you look at this equation number 1, I write down now d omega, that is a solid angle subtended by your detector at the target, is defined as ds over r square. That you people know. A solid angle is generally given by ds cos theta over r square. Theta is 0 in this case, so it is ds over r square. ds is the area element. You see, this is your area, I would say, right? This is your ds. So this ds you can write in a spherical polar coordinate system. If you write the value of ds in a spherical area element, that is r squared sine theta d phi. This is the value of ds I wrote here, the numerator. And the denominator is r square. So this r square in the numerator and r square in the denominator cancels. So you get the value of d omega is sine theta d phi. So you substitute this value of d omega in equation number 1. Let's say, so you this you can calculate, and now you see, basically our intention is to find total scattering cross section. Total cross section you want to find. Here this equation number 1 which I wrote here, it is a differential scattering cross section. Please remember. So now if I want to write down total cross section, because you see this is, look at the diagram here, and we can see that we have considered the cross section, this cross section, this is the target. I'm sorry, I'm not, it is a detector and it is making angle d omega. So we have calculated only for angle d omega. Now if you want to calculate for all total solid angle, if you want to calculate total solid angle, that is, you want to find out total cross section sigma, then you have to integrate this equation. This equation, you have to integrate this equation over the total solid angle, right? So this equation you have to integrate over the total solid angle, and now if you see this equation, so I have defined sigma. So you integrate over sigma theta phi d omega, right? This is the differential scattering cross section, and you integrate over the total entire solid angle. You are integrating over the entire solid angle. So I write down because it is an area, so you have a double integration. Look at this. This is sigma theta phi, right? And I place the value of d omega which I have calculated. So this is the value of d omega which I have calculated, that I will put in this equation. So look at this equation here. So sigma theta phi, I put the value of d omega, that is sine theta d theta d phi. And now you arrange this equation, because there is a theta dependent term, there is a phi dependent term. So you can rewrite this equation. This is with respect to theta, it is carried out with respect to theta. This is carried out with respect to phi. Theta changes from 0 to pi. It's a basically a zenith angle, and this, 0 to 2 pi is an azimuthal angle. This is the theta and phi. These are the two polar angles which characterize the scattered particle, which gives you the direction of scattered particles. And now there is one special case we take, that if the target which produces the potential, and if the potential is spherically symmetric, if the potential is spherically symmetric, then your potential sigma, that is your differential scattering cross section sigma theta phi, is independent of phi. It does not depend upon angle phi. Please remember, if your potential is spherically symmetric, then the differential scattering cross section is independent of azimuthal angle phi. So you can see this sigma theta phi, you can take it as a constant here. This sigma theta phi, sigma does not depend upon d phi, you take it outside. So here, if you take it outside, an integration of d phi is 2 pi. So you can write down this integration turns out to be 2 pi integration of 0 to pi sigma theta sine theta d theta. So your expression number 3 is an expression of total cross section, which I have mentioned here. So you see the total cross section sigma can be calculated using equation number 3, and this equation number 3 we will use it to calculate the total cross sections here. Please remember, the cross sections are usually measured in the unit meter square, I said, but they are measured in a special unit. This is known as barn, B-A-R-N-S, barns. And one barn, B-A-R, barn, is always equal to 10 raised to minus 24 centimeter square. And if you convert into meters square, it will be 10 to the power of minus 28 meters square. So you please remember, a conversion factor for the cross section, that is the nuclear, we will have the various cross section we will study. This is basically a scattering cross section. You can convert one barn into the meter square, because the cross section is basically giving you the area, and area we measure in meter square, and this cross sectional area, there is a specific unit which I have defined, is one barn is equal to 10 raised to minus 24 centimeters square. And this we will use it for our various numerical problems and exercises. So you please remember this conversion factor. And now with this brief introduction of a differential scattering cross section and total scattering cross section, and the angle of scattering, and with azimuth angle phi, let us solve a problem. This problem is that a beam of particles not single particle, but it's a beam of particles, is incident normally on a thin metal foil of thickness small t and area small a, if capital N0 is the number of nuclei per unit volume of the foil, find the fraction number of particles scattered in the direction of theta and phi. So you have to find out, first of all, how many particles are scattered in the direction of theta phi and find a fraction of a number of particles. So first of all, you can see using this is our equation number 1, which is known as a differential scattering cross section, which we have defined, right? This is the differential scattering cross section. You know this equation which we have defined, and differential scattering cross section is basically a number of scattered particles per unit solid angle divided by number of incident particles crossing unit area normal to the beam in a unit time. So now using equation number 1, so I use my equation number 1, and once you write down this equation 1, so here I wrote this equation number 1. So sigma theta phi, I wrote this equation, and using this equation I simplify and I calculate small n. Small n, as you know, it is a number of particles scattered into the solid angle d omega in a unit time in the direction of angle theta and phi. Please once again, small n is a number of particles, number of scattered particles scattered into the solid angle d omega in the direction of theta phi, in the direction of theta phi in unit time, and that is by single particle. Single target is single. You see, you have a one atom or a one nucleus there. So see, this is very important. You see, I mentioned here with an underline that this is small n is the number of particles scattered into the solid angle d omega in the direction by a single nucleus. But here you have a foil, so you don't have one nucleus, you have many nucleus. And look at the problem. The problem said that there are n0 number of nucleus per unit volume. So now your foil is having thickness A. I'm sorry, the foil is having thickness small t, and A is the area of cross section. So if you multiply area of cross section A with the thickness T, you will get the volume. So if I take the product of AT into N0, that will give you the number of nuclei in volume AT. Please remember this. So you may write the next step. The number scattered by this is only this number small n is number by only one nucleus. So number scattered by this many nuclei is equal to, you have to multiply by n0 into AT. So you see this equation which we wrote here, and if I multiply this equation by n0 AT, then I will get number of scattered particles into the solid angle d omega by the number of nuclei. How many nuclei are there in that volume? That is N0AT. So I multiply by the number of nuclei in that volume AT is N0AT. So these many particles are scattered in a unit time. Now you remember capital N is the number of incident particles crossing the unit area normal to the unit beam, normal to the beam in a unit time. But now it is crossing per unit area. But you have a foil of area capital A. So number of particles striking an area A in a unit time will be the product of N into A. Capital N is a number of particles. Okay, they are moving across a plane. This plane, which is normal to the direction of the beam, but this plane is having unit area. But your foil is having capital A, the area is capital A. So we have to find out number of particles striking an area A in a unit time, that is Na. So now you please remember the fraction of a particle scattered in a direction is number of particles scattered into the solid angle d omega by all the nuclei in unit time divided by the number of particles striking the area in a unit time, that is capital Na. So this is the number of the numerator. Numerator is a number of particles scattered into the solid angle d omega by all the nuclei of the sample divided by number of particles striking the area A in a unit time, and that is nothing but fraction of particles scattered in the direction of theta phi. And if you take this ratio, that comes out to be sigma theta phi d omega and 0 into t. So friend, this is a very primary example of a scattering theory. So today I taught you two important parameters: the differential scattering cross section and total scattering cross section. I gave you the unit of measuring the cross section, and we have discussed the schematic diagram of the scattering event, and we have defined the two directions of angle theta and angle phi, that when a scattering takes place, how do you characterize a scattered particle. And generally when you have a scattered particle, when you study its wave nature, you have a scattered wave, and so you can characterize the scattered wave in the direction of theta and phi. Next time we will study in detail, and I would like to teach you how to write a wave equation for a scattered wave, and we would like to solve this equation, that is the scattered wave equation, not very close to the target, but we will find the solution at a large distance from the target, and we will bring some information regarding the scatterer. So I'll stop here. The next lecture we will proceed for writing the wave equation for a scattered wave. Thank you very much.